Welcome back, everybody. It's Sport Federation TV. We are currently talking about climbing, Western Cape climbing. It's a sport for all. Of course, and we're going to speak to Tiffany Wells from Western Cape Climbing a little bit more about this, but of course, the opportunity to practice in the gym and, of course, go and do it outdoors. Am I right, Tiffany? I mean, you do it in the gym, but sometimes you get in your car and off you go into the mountains.
Yeah, very much so. And Cape Town is a mecca for climbing outside.
Yeah. So, okay, before we talk about the mountains, let's talk a little bit about high performance. This is something that you guys as Western Cape Climbing have really made a big effort on in the last few years. I mean, we've seen some real talent from you guys. You've gone to Junior World Champs. I think you were at Texas you came back from Texas. I think you were head coach there as well. But high performance, apart from the social aspect, which has been there now, we've spoken about that, high performance is a high priority for you guys.
Yeah, it is. It's a very high priority now. Myself and Chris Allen, we started the high performance program. And the goal is to just try and get all the youth athletes in Western Cape who train in like separate clubs to come together and climb together during the month. So that they can like feed off of each other and keep psyched. Yeah.
So is that... I would imagine that one of the reasons why you did it is because you were climbers, they love climbing, they practice social, they come to the gym, they do it, and they get to a point where they say, I want to do this a bit more seriously.
Yeah, so often what happens is as a youth athlete, you join a club or you join a coaching group because it's something that you can do after school, you can get dropped off, the parents know that you're in good hands, you're with a coach for the day, and then you get exposed to the competitive elements of climbing. And that happens pretty naturally with being with a coach. And then those athletes that are really excited about coaching, about competing, start dabbling in it, and then they get more serious in it, and that's where high performance comes in. We pick up talent from different coaches, and we draw those athletes into a team.
That dabbling was going to kind of be my next question. Is what are the kind of things that is part of that transition phase? I suppose you guys as high performance coaches have to think, okay, this is now not so social anymore. You've got to integrate a few things to get the athlete to move from being recreational or social into competitive. What happens differently?
I think your understanding of training and sport changes. So the purpose of high performance is to try and equip athletes to understand what it means to train, how to periodize, how to rest properly, how to sleep well, how to eat well, so that they can start thinking about performing optimally in a competition, right? And to try and keep their mental game up, and just all of those aspects, start getting them to think about them. Whereas before, you just come into the climbing gym, you're climbing until you're wrecked, and then you go home.
And you don't need to come back tomorrow if you don't feel like it.
Yeah. So, whereas some weeks, you have to come back, and even if you're tired, you have to train hard, and other weeks you have to rest, and starting to think about those sorts of elements.
So is that one of the things that you guys have to teach, discipline? I mean, if you want to succeed, you've got to train.
Yeah, definitely. So, and also I think this is important that high performance, we filter that information down through the coaching structures. Because we don't see them every week, we work very closely with the coaches as well.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the coaches. How does that work for you and your team? Obviously, you've got a lot of climbers. They're climbing around Western Cape, climbing City Rock, of course, and Block 11, both of the gyms. You can't do it all on your own.
With the coaching?
Yeah,
so coaching is growing in the Western Cape. We definitely need a bigger supply of coaches, and it needs to grow with time as the sport develops. But there are a number of structured clubs within Western Cape, and all of those hire coaches. And we have a nice pool to draw from now at this point.
So how do you get to be a higher coach? I mean, we know that you're coaching athletes. Do you also coach coaches?
Coaching coaches. So high performance started. So the original goal for high performance was not only to focus on athletes, but to focus on everybody within the province. So we need to focus on things like coaches, upskilling them, working with them, like learning from them as well. Sitting in a room full of coaches and talking about performance, talking about training, coming up with ideas on cool and creative ways to train kids. All of that sort of stuff. So our goal is to work with each different part that creates climbing.
What would you say is the first thing for someone to become a coach? The kind of the basics. The basics of coaching. Be on time, bring a clipboard.
I think what really helps is a little bit of time climbing. I think experience in and understanding climbing is the first step.
Yeah.
And then going from there, I would say like starting with a group that you feel passionate about working with, whether it be an adult that's only just started out, a really young child, a high performance child, if you're climbing at the level where you can. You know.
What about the other elements? Like, you get some coaches, they in their day, they were great athletes. They were fantastic. And then you put them in front of people to coach, but they don't know how to talk, or they don't know how to command or get the athlete's attention. Those things about being able to present. Do you try and work with the coaches on that? Because everyone thinks he's a great coach. Well, I can coach everything. But then you realize, well, I'm not. No one's listening to me, as an example. I mean, do you have to bring that element in?
Yeah, so I think we definitely do. We're working on aspects of pairing coaches, so especially through high performance, having somebody that has had more experience coaching with somebody that potentially has a little bit less, and they're working together. So as soon as you can see somebody who's been coaching for many, many years commanding that stage, per se, then you kind of learn and grow from what they do.
Do the coaches change in their demeanor? Do they become sort of more confident? Do they change as people? Do they get, all of a sudden you see some more commanding? They've got their aura changes a bit?
Definitely, and I think that also just comes with experience. The more you do it, the more feedback you get, the more you work with people, you grow as a coach yourself, and then you can see that change. So
I'm in the climbing space now. I'm a social climber. I'm becoming competitive. Now I'm getting into the sort of the high performance space. What changes for me now in terms of what can I expect? What am I getting back? Am I getting, I don't know, personal training programs, or someone advising me about my nutrition? Am I getting a little bit more one-on-one? Am I getting invited to more sessions? What is more for me now?
So as a high-performance athlete, you now get additional sessions on top of your normal coaching sessions in a week. So we run things like competition simulations so that you can practice being on a competition stage. And those are hosted by the gyms. The gyms are setting routes and boulders specifically for you, and you can come in and work with your team. You get to climb with all the other athletes that are considered high performance, so you can learn and grow quite a lot more as an athlete. The more climbers you climb with, the better you get. You also get, we host online workshops and in-person workshops on training, on nutrition, on sleep, on all of those sorts of aspects as well. So there's those included in the month as well. And each month we aim to at least do some online theory-based stuff, and as well as physical training in the gym. And then what we've done is we've pulled our coaches together, and you get to come through and you'll be coached by different coaches as well, which is also quite important. So you get different elements from different people along the way. So today you'll have a different coach, and they'll be teaching you and lead, and you'll learn their way of coaching, and then on a different day you'll get somebody else, which is quite cool. So
if I'm a social climber and I work really hard, is there a qualification level? Like, can I just come to you and say, okay, now I want to be a competitive climber? Do you say, well, hang on, guys, you've got to first qualify? So
to be a competitive climber, you can compete, right? You can register with Western Cape Climbing, you can come through to a provincial comp, you can come through to the more fun comps, and you can compete as a climber, and that's totally fine. And you'll get a ranking within the province and all of that, and it doesn't matter what level you're at, you can come and have fun and you can go for it, right? And then once you've started to show that you're ranking higher up, that you've showing a little bit more promise, you're super dedicated to training and things like that, then amongst Western Cape Climbing, we'll notice you from a coaching perspective or from a high performance perspective, and you're likely then to be approached by someone that says like, hey, why don't you come and do this more regularly, come and join my sessions, my team, those sorts of things, and then that's the way forward to getting you higher up in the rankings. What comes next for you guys this year? I understand it's a busy year for you guys, lots of big competitions coming up. Yeah, so we have provincials on the 18th and 19th of February. Right. There'll be lead and speed at City Rock on the 18th, and bouldering at Block 11 on the 19th. And then after that, there'll be nationals in Johannesburg. So they'll be heading that side. So we'll choose our team at that provincial event. And then later on in the year, there's something really exciting happening. We're getting
Why do I get the feeling you're not allowed to tell me yet? Okay, is it out?
It is. Well, we're in process of organizing it,
Yeah.
but I think it's pretty
All right,
much
so
sealed. Yeah.
we'll leave that one then. We'll leave that on the back burner, but we need to get you back in here.
Okay.
Come and tell us about that as soon as
Awesome.
possible. So we're looking forward to all these exciting surprises. But of course, Western Cape Champs then happening. Just tell us again, and is it open to the public?
Yes, it is open to the public. Anyone can come and check it out. So it's happening on the 18th of February at City Rock, and on the 19th of February at Block 11 in Deep River.
All right. And then, of course, the Nationals. Where is it being hosted this year?
In City Rock in Johannesburg.
All right. So, Tiffany, thanks for joining us in studio. It's been great chatting with you. Definitely need to get you back in here as soon as possible. We want to see how these high-performance athletes are doing. But great stuff. Fantastic stuff. Really innovative. And yeah, well done.
Awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Right, folks, Tiffany Wells, Western Cape Climbing, high performance. So if you want to move from being a social climber to competitive into high performance, well, you know that you're going to get looked after. Those dates again, then 18th of February at City Rock. That's, of course, in Pardon Island. And 19th of February at Block 11. Both venues, Block 11 in Deep River. All right, there we go. Block 11 in Deep River. So Western Cape Championships, and of course then our athletes who will proudly be wearing the Western Cape colours, which I happen to be wearing today, which you can buy online on the Western Cape Confederation online shop, wcpsc.co.za. You can buy this shirt and wear a replica item so you can support your team. But otherwise, go and follow Western Cape Climbing on Instagram. You can follow them find them on their website as well. You can find out more. But a great innovation to see our high-performance coaches getting in, at least getting into the picture at climbing. Wow. So much going on, and we can't wait to find out more. Folks, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll carry on talking about sport in the province. Now go away.